I'm Crystel Patterson. I am a children's book author, and I've authored a book series called Inspired to Be, which is all about spreading Black inspiration to all children. I was inspired to write this book series back in 2020 with everything that was going on in our country, specifically what happened with George Floyd. My older son at the time, who was 8, started asking some very tough questions about that. And it made me really sad that that's what our young kids had to focus on. And it made me think about all the positive stories that are out there that they aren't exposed to. And in spending time with my younger son, who really loves books, it made me realize that books was a potential answer to help amplify more positive stories of Black people. So I had the vision of creating this book series that would solely exist to like amplify more positive narratives of Black people, to show children real stories of Black, or at least stories inspired by real people, where there were success stories and not victim stories, right? So that they can see all these other possibilities of what they can grow up to be. And as I was doing it, I realized how important it was also for all children to be exposed to these stories, and have that type of access to stories where there are positive examples of Black people and main characters are all Black. And so that's why I say the book series is all about spreading Black inspiration to all children. I think for me, when something is fun, and this is why my younger son inspired me and showed me that books could be an answer, because I looked at the books that he liked, right? And so when they can actually enjoy reading the book because it's fun, maybe because it rhymes, maybe because it's relatable to them, it's something that it's clicking with them. Also, when it's something that almost can sound like a song a little bit, like, so rhyming, repetition. I think children start enjoying reading when it's like a joyful experience. And I think once they can get into the book, the message will take on a path of its own, right? And it will inspire them. So you just got to get them interested in it. And so that's what I try to do with my book series. I say that my books are inspiring, relatable, and memorable. Inspiring because of the messages, relatable because it has stories in there, lessons in there that every child can take something away from. And then memorable because of my style of writing, of just using a lot of rhyme and repetition so that they can really enjoy the stories. And so hopefully that will inspire them. And just being amongst other books, they're seeking to do the same thing, but they're giving different lenses of diversity. So my books focus on Black children, right? But they're not just for Black children, but they present Black children, Black characters. And hopefully when my books are in a library or a classroom or any type of setting amongst other books that kind of give that different lens of diversity, maybe a Mexican child or a Vietnamese child, right? Now children start having access to all of those books where they can see themselves and other children represented in these stories. When I go to schools, I hear often, like after I would read a book, I would hear often that teachers would say, like we were talking about in class the other day, like the lessons in the book are very much in on par with what the children are learning, specifically from like social emotional learning standpoint, acceptance, these types of themes. And so I really feel like my books can be supplemental to the curriculum.
I believe we resonated with the I Am Different the most because we have a diverse class with unique names, along with saying positive affirmations each morning. And so they were really into this book.
The kids really got a kick out of the interesting aspects of what you could be and what it takes. And I think she did a great job of spelling out the name of the game is practice.
practice more than ever before.
And the one that stuck out to the students the most was this book, Inspired to Be Too Young to What? And I think mostly because it was a question, too young to what? The kids were really confused. So when I read it, they were like, oh, this is a bunch of kids who are doing things. And I like researched some of the kids so that they can see what they look like. And they were like, oh, okay, like they became more like into it.
My books can be supplemental to the curriculum, right? You're learning about something, but how do you like continue to reinforce that lesson that you're learning? These books could be a great tool to help reinforce. And my books actually have activities and different type of things that kind of can take on a different form after you read the book, so that they can continue again to reinforce the messages in the book. So I see them being used. I get a lot of great feedback from teachers who have introduced the books in their classroom because it goes well with what they're already talking about in the classroom.